like a question I ask everyone because I think it's great because people have different opinions. What is a piece of advice that you'd give to people that are just starting in theatre or want to pursue it as a career in the future?
That's a great question. And I think the most important thing, well, I'll give you like a two thing. So I think one is definitely being kind to every person that you meet. But the kindness is more about like being a team player, right? You want to help, you want to, you're not trying to create a bad environment for anybody, right? And also, you never know who you're working with and what they might become later in the future. I know, like when I started college, it was just like, look to your right, look to your left. That might be a former or a future director, or this might be a future choreographer. And so you always want to keep that, that positive energy and kindness. And I think the other important thing is being adaptable in your work. For me, especially like being a swing a lot, I have to adapt in many ways on the stage and within the tracks, but also on the flip side, if you're not a swing and if you have swings coming on or standbys or understudies, it's a different person. And so we're obviously trying to do our best to match what is originally set, but in the end, you're not that exact person. So things are going to be different. And so I think being adaptable is really important, and also just adapting to just like, because our business is constantly fluctuating, obviously right now. And so we're having to adapt even now in this time during the pandemic.
Yes, that is very true. Liz, you can go next.
Awesome. I wanted to know if you had any like pre-show ritual or something that you always make sure that you do before you go on stage.
That's great. So for me, it actually depends on what show I'm in and what is required of me within that show. So when it came to Cats, I actually didn't do a super strenuous warm-up because it's a very physically demanding show. And honestly, I felt like my body was kind of always in like this warm state just because I had like rehearsals all day long, and then I would go to the show, and then it was just 2 show day and then more rehearsal. And so it was constantly kind of working. So my warm up was definitely like checking in like with my hamstrings and my hips and my shoulders and like making sure they're more stable versus like warming up, if that makes sense. And then when it came to, let's say like with Mean Girls, if I was on for like a more, love the Mean Girls background, yes. So if I was on like a more singing demanding part, then I would warm up more vocally for that. If I was on for a more physically demanding part, then I would make sure my body was warm. But I do think overall, it's very important to make sure that your body, a warm up is to get your body and voice warm, right? So I think it's important to like start to feel like sweat going, your body's moving. It's not, you're not trying to warm up to like then start doing that. You want to feel that already. And yeah, because that helps prevent injuries, but also you have to make sure. So with Cats, I actually did get injured because I warmed up too much. I had like taken a yoga class beforehand. I was super stretched out and flexible. And then I didn't even lift my leg up. I did like an arabesque, and my supporting leg is the one that got tweaked. So I was too warm with that. So that's why I was saying, like, I started working on like making sure I was stabilized versus like stretchy. You want to do more dynamic stretching versus static stretching for physical requirements, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Finn, do you want to go next? And then if Meredith wants to ask a question, then we'll let her go. And then I guess I'll be last.
Hi. I saw this with Becca and Brittany, and I'm not sure if it was an original cast thing, but does your swing have a separate name?
Oh, good question. Oh my gosh, I did come up with a name, and now why can't I remember it? I had like a first name and a last name that that I came up with myself, and now I'm so disappointed that I can't remember. Maybe because we closed or something, so just like put an end to it. But oh, that's such a bummer that I can't even remember. But I did come up with a name on my own, which is so funny because even people would talk to me as my character name too, no matter who I was on for. I can't believe I can't remember that right now, but definitely I remember that I came up that my boyfriend's name was Mario if I was on. That was definitely, I remember that. Maybe because I don't call myself by my name if I'm that character, but I do remember that I came up that my boyfriend's name was Mario. Basically because I had a necklace that had a little M on it. So that's how I came up with that little detail.
Hopefully some of your other cast mates remember, just so we can somehow figure it out.
It's so funny that I can't think of what it was.
You should ask Mario.
I should. Where did Mario go?
Meredith, if you wanna unmute and ask a question, then that would be great. So that's 4 out of 5. Unless you want someone else to ask your question, then you can just put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they're not responding, so I'm gonna ask my question.
Hey, Ashley, she private messaged to, she wants me to read it. Great, okay, awesome.
Hey, Eli.
How is it living in the West?
In the West?
That's what it says.
I'm on the east. Do you mean the East Coast or the West? Is that what we're meaning?
I'll interpret it. How is it living in the city when a Broadway show is running? And what's your lifestyle like, I guess?
Ooh, that's a really good question. And again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about it depends on the show. So again, if I'm swinging or if I'm not swinging. So one tricky part, if you're swinging or if you're an understudy or a standby, you don't know what your show is going to be. And so it's hard to determine how much can I do today without draining myself and my energy. And so at least when I return, if I do return back to Broadway, and once Broadway is open again, I've actually been talking to my physical therapist, and we've been trying to develop some sort of warm up that I will do consistently. That is my go-to. And we've been talking about making something that will be harder than the show. Because if I can do something continuously that's harder than that, then the show kind of comes easier. But that's all still new. We still don't know exactly what that will be yet. But usually my day with a lot of my Broadway shows is being a cover or a swing. And so honestly, it's a lot of rehearsal during that time, but it's amazing. I love it. We become an even tighter family and group as swings and understudies because we are together more often and we go through a lot together. So it's really wonderful.
Yeah, well, I guess I will close this out with the last question. And I just wanted to ask you, what can we do as the people watching the shows and helping with Broadway accounts or things that because Broadway is just what we love. What can we do to help spread more knowledge, I guess, about swings and understudies? Because I feel it's just not talked about enough. And to us at least, you are a superstar, you're amazing, but
thanks.
People from the outside might not see it as much of as such a cool thing. So just what can we do on our side to kind of spread the love about swings and understudies? Because I've been trying a lot to post about a lot of different people who've been in different shows and what they can do and all that kind of stuff just to spread the love. But what is something specific that you would think would be amazing for us to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall that is already such a wonderful step that's being taken. I've actually been wondering this myself, and I've been kind of contemplating about what I can do as well, because I think as swings, something that's hard to hear, but it's good to hear, where it's oh, I didn't even know you were in the show today, or oh, I didn't even realize this or this or this. And basically, to me, what that's saying is, I mean, what they're trying to say is you didn't make any mistakes. It was so flawless. It didn't change anybody's traffic or anything like that. But I think when I'm constantly, this is very personal for myself, but I've been reflecting on that and hearing that. It just constantly feels like, oh, then you're not seeing me, like me, if that makes sense. So I think that will be something for me to address when I go back, if I'm swinging or something, is just recognizing or making that recognition to others of just saying like, oh, but hi, I am here. I am a part of this show. I am here today. I appreciate you saying that. It made things easy, and I think maybe it's educating people in that sort of way of wording things, if that makes sense. Like, don't just say I didn't recognize, or I didn't see you, or I didn't notice. Maybe it could be said differently of, wow, you did a great job today. The traffic was perfect, or that costume change went very smoothly. That wig change went smoothly. It's like, just the way that we phrase things could maybe start changing. And yeah, I think I don't have an exact answer for that, but I do think our union is already trying to do things too, of like, they just started a National Swing Day just a couple years
Yes, I
ago.
love that.
And I think that's a really wonderful thing. And so I think it's like just constantly just bringing more awareness of things. And I think that also comes with, yeah, just fellow cast members. And but I do appreciate all of your guys' support. I really think that's a wonderful thing. And I think it is just the educating of what it takes. And oh, that's actually, I was hearing this on National Swing Day of just like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. And again, I know that it's in a tone of like, wow, you do so much. But I guess for myself, again, it's just saying, well, do you want to know? Because it is actually, it's a lot of work that we have to do.
Yeah,
And, not just on stage, but off stage, and the preparation that goes into it, and the even like your mental state and physical state and everything. There's a lot that goes into it. And so I think just the education is a really important thing. And that's for everybody, and that's for myself included.
Yeah, and I think one other thing I wanted to mention that I thought was really interesting is that Miles, who played like Coach Carr, if you guys didn't know, when I met him at the stage door the same night I met you, he was like, I told him, I was like, you did amazing tonight, because I like follow him on Instagram and I know who he is, and he's like, I'm not gray, right? And I'm like, yes, of course I know you're not gray, Henson. Like, yeah, I mean, even the people who go on every night, like, it's just they're just sometimes overlooked, and it breaks my heart so much because I appreciate you guys.
Oh, like, thank you.
It's so immensely, and like, too much almost sometimes. But thank you so much for doing this.
Of course.
See, I think when we had a Q&A with Brian Bogan a couple weeks ago, he's a stage manager for a few Broadway shows. He's like, you realize that I'm not an actor. So, I mean, same thing in Ashley's situation. Yes, because backstage crew, I feel, is also just unnoticed.
Oh my gosh, the amount of work that they have to do. And we also have swings for backstage as well. We have swing dressers, we have swing wig people, and props, and we have swings everywhere. It's not just on stage. And so it really is, it's amazing how we all put it together.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, an idea that we could have is like doing a day where it's just the dressers and like the instrument people and all that kind of stuff, and that would just be.
We're definitely thinking of a behind the scenes day. I am. That's rumored to do.
Love that. I love that idea. I think that's amazing.
Well, thank you so much, Maria. I know we're kind of done.